Welcome to the Global Marketing Show, the podcast for all things international business. I'm your host, Wendy Pease, president of Rapport International and a translation expert. Come along with me today as we talk to an expert in the global marketing world about facing their biggest fears, hearing about mistakes they made or saw, discussing best practices, and sharing fun travel, language, and culture stories. Hello, friends of the Global Marketing Show. Welcome back to another episode. We're recording another live episode from the Resi conference here in Boston. And we've got another excellent guest. I've just been fascinated by the conversations that I've been able to have. Before we do that, just a reminder that we're brought to you by our sponsor, Rapport International, who provides foreign language translation in over 200 languages. And today's tidbit is about whistling. I'm not going to try to whistle for you, but did you know that whistling in a European crowd is jeering, while in the US, it's for approval? So all these subtle little things between cultures that can really make a difference. The guest that we're going to talk to now is Mickael Dang from Synakis. He's a co-founder over there and has a very international background. So Mickael, welcome.
Hi, very happy to be here.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about Synakis.
Yeah, so we co-founded the Synakis a couple of years ago. It's incubating out of a lab at the University of Toronto, leading by Dr. Molly Shorkett, who is a world-renowned professor in biomedical engineering. Yeah.
Okay. And now you're finishing up your PhD right now, is what you said.
Yeah,
right?
so I'm originally from France. I was born and raised there. And I came to Canada really for this PhD that was leading to be a translational project. And so I really had this entrepreneurial mindset from the get-go and wanted to do a PhD for a purpose, for really kind of get the company out there. And so Willie Molly allowed me to have this opportunity to kind of co-found this company together with her and several other brilliant people in the lab. And we're now starting this company where we develop this platform technology hydrogel that will tackle most of the main ocular diseases. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you must be swamped working on your PhD and launching the business and Canada.
It's been quite hectic.
Yeah,
It's been very hectic. At the beginning, it was really hard to manage that, figure out what's the kind of balance between how much should I put in my PhD versus how is the business. But the PhD is the same concept as being an entrepreneur. You still need to be very self-driven, very also independent as well. You have to come up with your own experiment, come up with the next predicted results. So you have to also talk to people a lot. So it's very the same kind of mindset. So that was kind of easy to translate these skills to the entrepreneur side of me. I think after several years, I started to really figure out how to balance, during the day, I'm full-time PhD, figure out experiments, etc. And usually by night, evening, I'll just focus on business, learn more about, the business side of it, what it means to have, what is cash flow, what is profit, what is all this basic stuff, right?
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about what is your vision? What's the science? What are you trying to solve? What are you doing?
Yeah, so the vision is really to help patients have a better recovery and just better life in terms of when they try to go through ocular disease. One of the core technology we have is what we call it SNK125, which is a hydrogel-based technology that allows you to kind of push the retina to the back of the eye. So a lot of people have a retinal detachment.
Yeah.
So the retina detaches and you have to go through a vitrectomy to push it back. But the product that you have right now to push that retina back to the eye is silicone oil or heavy gases. So they're not very great for you. First, the refractive index is different. So you have blurry vision during your recovery. You have to do a phase down posturing for 18 hours a day, weeks to months. And it's non-biodegradable for some of the products. So at the end of that recovery, you have to go back to the hospital, get that thing removed out of the eye. It's inside, right? So you have to get it removed outside. So we try to completely eliminate all of this. So instead of weeks to month recovery, we have a hydrogel that is transparent, so no blurry vision anymore. It's biomimetic. So no need for face down posturing anymore. And at the end, it's biodegradable. So no need to go back to the hospital and get it removed. So it's completely safe and the patient will recover in a matter of days instead of like weeks to months in this case.
So is this something you'd do at your doctor's or you'd still go into the hospital?
Yeah, it would be the same surgery. Unfortunately, we can't avoid that. The product will be different because that will impact the recovery of the patient in this case.
Okay. And so it's the global marketing show. Already you're global. You grew up in France and you're in Canada and you're in this research. So what's going on global at your company? And what stage are you in?
Yeah. So right now we are still at the preclinical part of the company. We did file already a patent years ago in 2019, filed in several territories because the goal would be to kind of protect our technology in major territories so that we can really expand it to other places. Like we filed it in Europe, Australia, Canada, China, and also Australia as well. And the goal would be really to start off with North America and like partnering with one of the biggest companies such as Alcon or Bausch & Lomb to take us over to kind of the other international continent. Like hopefully Europe and China will come after that. But the first base right now will be North America, further expand that first and really sell that there, you know.
Okay. So the plan is to really partner up with an international company to take it into clinical?
Yeah. The reason really is because of the cost and also the marketing power. We don't have it. You know, we do have the science. We understand the technology and we understand the need behind it. We have a team of like virtual retinal surgeon that is great. But we definitely need that marketing power because companies like Bausch & Lomb or Alcon, they own the entire market.
Right.
So they know what they're doing.
Right.
So really having them as a partner at some point will be the best way for us to move on and to really expand it globally.
Oh, okay. Okay. And so you'd like to partner with them even for going into clinicals, even before you're trying to.
Yeah. Absolutely. That would be really the plan. So far right now, we're looking for seed investment right now to kind of go through the last part of the, really the GMP manufacturing. We need to manufacture in a very clean way of product. We need to then also file the ID to the FDA. We need to go through the regulatory process of the FDA. And that's when we can like inject that into the patient.
Yeah.
So until then, that's still like a lot of money. So that's why we're right now looking for a seed investment to go through to get to that inflection point.
Okay. So that's what you're doing here at Resi.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then who are you looking for investors? Are you looking international? Or are you looking for US since you're planning on launching? Or?
We are really open. We started to look for, of course, North American companies as it's easier to communicate on a daily basis as it would be our
time
investors.
Zone, language, culture. Okay,
but definitely knowing that there's a huge need also in China, for example, we know that there's a lot of retinal detachment going on there. We know that that will be also of interest for us to expand that there.
Now, there's a huge need in China. Is that because of the number of people that are there, or that's a more common thing that happens there?
One of the things is
so it's just pure numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not. It's really North America has the most. Also, they have the best surgeon here, and there's a lot of people will even fly over to get their retina repaired. But yeah, we're trying to tackle definitely North America, Europe, and China. So we're really open in terms of investors, but the first one needs to be someone close to us to help us on a daily basis. And then after we can expand it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're really thinking that going from Canada into the US because of the proximity.
Yeah.
Would you turn down money from China?
No. These are primary focus for North America, but.
Okay, so your primary focus where you're going to look, but you're open
We're open to any investment out there.
Okay. And how about the meetings that you're having here in Resi? Are you finding people?
Yeah, so we actually met with a VC company, Excite Venture earlier. They are based in LA. They're very focused on ophthalmology products. So that was really a great discussion. We also have meeting plans later on, like not even today, but also virtually tomorrow and also Friday with firms that are located either in Asia or either in Europe. So it's going to be early mornings or late nights for me to meet them, but because we need to look at the time. But Yeah.
And they focus on the ophthalmology products too.
Yeah. I think it's easier to also like get the interest there because they know like what we're talking about in terms of when we talk to a VC firm, if they know a lot about ophthalmology, it's easier. But we're starting with as focused as possible, as close as possible, but then we're also open to any other investment.
Yeah, and that's what Life Science Nation, who is the founder of the Resi Conference, talking to them, they said sometimes it can be easier to raise funds internationally for exactly that reason. You're talking to investors that are familiar with the disease state.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so how about any language or culture issues that you've run into?
So far, not really. I mean, I speak French, so in Canada it's pretty easy. I didn't have any problem. If it was in Mandarin, I would struggle a little bit more, even though it's my mother language, like it's my language from my parents, but I'll manage a little bit. But so far, we haven't met an investor outside of English and French. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So language and culture haven't
no,
come into play yet.
it was a struggle a couple of years ago for me because I didn't know how to speak like English. I used to just speak only French and came here 6 years ago, barely know how to put sentences together. Need to learn, and then now I feel way more comfortable. Like,
Oh my gosh. Yes. That's amazing. I mean, learning English in a PhD program.
you have to talk, you have to present, so you push to like communicate. So you need to really learn fast.
Yeah. And your accent is even very good.
Thanks. Thank you.
And so what are your plans for the company? Say you get funding. I mean, is this, you want to finish your PhD and then run this full time?
Yeah. So I'm going to defend my PhD this November.
Well, good
Very
luck.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. The goal will be to kind of take that full time and to even get outside of the lab. Right now, we're still incubating in the lab at Molly's lab. So the goal will be that we really move on full time, create new jobs for like, Torontonians, for the Canadian people, and also just expand that a bit more. It's because we have a pipeline of products. The first product is retinal detachment. I explained that. That's a core technology. But we also have like many products coming in that would deliver drugs that will reach to a bigger market. So we'll be like really continuing the company vision.
Oh, okay. So you're not going down the academic path. You're definitely going down the entrepreneurial path.
Yeah. I think I definitely have a lot of interest in academia, but right now I think I can feel that it's right for me to try that path and then see where it goes.
Good for you. Good for you. So we're kind of coming to the end. And I
unfortunately.
like to, I know this has been fascinating. Always like to ask, what's your favorite foreign word?
Yeah, actually, I like it's in French. I'm biased. I like casse-tête. It means, if I translate it, it's breaking the head. But casse-tête means like when something is very complicated. So we say it's a casse-tête because it's just breaking your head, breaking brains.
Oh, that's great. How do you spell that?
Just CASSE and then hyphen and then TET, TET.
The head. Break the head. Oh, okay. Good. So that heavy duty thinking.
And I love that word because it really describes it. That it's like just so hard to understand this problem, to figure that out.
And you spend your whole life in casse-tête.
My PhD was a casse-tête the entire time, so.
And your business is a casse-tête.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. Well, we were talking at the beginning about learning about the business side of business with the cash flow and everything like that. So one is I'd like to tell you about Entrepreneurs Organization. They have a chapter up in Toronto that you can join. So that is a fantastic place to get into with other entrepreneurs. It's global.
Nice.
And then the other thing that I'd like to do is give you a gift of the language of global marketing. So it'll teach you the business growth side of marketing.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So it's a book I wrote because a lot of similar questions were coming up. So I hope it boils it down.
Amazing.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Your story is fascinating, and I will say a little good wishes for you when you're defending your PhD.
Thank you.
Which
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll have no problem with.
Thank you. Fingers crossed.
Listeners, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Global Marketing Show. And I hope that you were inspired to greatness because talking with Mickael right here, I certainly have felt a little unaccomplished and thinking I could do a lot more, but all in a good way. So if you've enjoyed this episode, or if you know of somebody that has suffered from retinal detachment, or you know investors that would be interested in this area, please feel free to share this episode with them and give us 5 and come back and see us again. Thanks so much for tuning in.
That's a wrap for this session. A big thanks to you for listening to the Global Marketing Show. Hope you had just as much fun as I did. New sessions launch weekly on all places you find podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and of course on our website. If you know someone interested in this topic, please tell them about us. Au revoir for now.